is a big setback for Tarun Tejpal. The Supreme Court was to deliver a verdict today on Tejpal's plea for quashing charges. And yes, as per the latest information we are getting, Tarun Tejpal's plea has been rejected. It's a big setback for Tarun Tejpal as the top court has now rejected the plea which had been filed by his lawyers as Tarun Tejpal was seeking quashing of charges. I straight away want to cut across to our legal editor, Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj, who's joining us from the top court. Rhythm, take us through all that had happened.
Well, a big verdict coming in from the Supreme Court right now, where Tarun Tejpal's plea that was here in the Supreme Court has been dismissed. The Supreme Court, he had moved saying that he wanted quashing of charges. Trial is to begin in the Goa court against the rape charges that had been framed earlier against Tarun Tejpal. This is the big breaking news coming in right here from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said 6 months' time is given to the lower court to complete trial, and that becomes massive. This case, started off in 2013, November 8th to 9th, on which the victim, the complainant, had stated that she had been twice sexually molested by Tarun Tejpal, after which, after several delaying tactics, finally they had been told that they can go ahead and charges were framed, which was a big move forward in the case. Now the breaking news coming in from the top court that whatever plea he had moved here has been dismissed. Goa police, we saw Solicitor General Tushar Mehta appear for them, who said there is ample evidence, ample material in the case that will be given once the trial starts. For Tarun Tejpal, Vikas Singh, whom Republic TV spoke to in the morning, clearly said that there was no such case. He said there seems to be a political motive behind it. It's clear that there is a campaign trying to defame the victim maliciously. But the Supreme Court had made an observation that time. They had said, if there was nothing that happened, then why was there an apology given to the complainant, to the victim? Remember, viewers, this case started in 2013 when we saw at the height of his power, Tarun Tejpal had been accused by this victim. And this clearly shows the might with which he used, because the charge sheet's words are clear. The charge sheet very clearly indicates, and I'm going to go across to what the charge sheet had, being the person in a position of trust, authority, in a position of control and dominance as an employer. She was working under him. He had wrongfully constrained, confined, used criminal force, made physical contacts, demanded sexual favors, made sexually colored remarks, and committed the offense of rape, sexual harassment, and outraging her modesty. The charge sheet had stated that on the basis of this charge sheet, now trial will begin on charges that had been earlier framed against Tarun Tejpal. Let's tell our viewers what those charges were. He had been charged with, under the Indian Penal Code, under 354A, sexual harassment, physical contact, advances involving unwelcome, explicit sexual overtures, and unwelcome verbal and non-verbal conduct. 376 of the IPC, which is on rape, and 376 2K, which says rape of a person or a woman in his custody taking advantage of his official position. 341 says wrongful constraint, and 342 is wrongful confinement. On the basis of these particular sections, which the Goa court had stated, Tarun Tejpal will now face trial. The court is clear. The court has said that we shall go ahead in 6 months' time. The court will complete the Tejpal trial. The lower court earlier had framed charges, after which now we have been told, and this is the most recent development coming in, this case is also listed before the courts in Goa today, the trial case. However, there is no judge there right now, so we will have to see when this starts. But the Supreme Court has clearly said that this will happen. Now, let's also tell our viewers, breaking news coming in, Justice Arun Mishra, who's on the bench, who gave out the Tejpal judgment, has said crime committed was morally abhorrent. So clear observation coming in from the Supreme Court on the kind of crime